Hi, everybody. This is Melissa, your free range psychic. I'm live today, September 30th, 2025. Last time I checked. Hey, everybody. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Gail. Hey, Sonia. Good to see you. Oh, my goodness. What are you guys up to? Oh, my God. Um, so what's the question, Gail? Do I see the squatter in the White House biting the big one in October? Is that what the other people are predicting? Um, I'm not good at predicting the time of transition because I just haven't perfected that well, and so I think there's resistance. I don't necessarily want to be accurate about that aspect of reading. I think can sometimes be, close, or even accurate. I just, um, it's just hard to read on. I can say what I feel in the, kind of where the energies are right now, but I can't promise I'll be accurate about that. My guides keep on telling me he's close to, to transitioning. I will ask that nevertheless, but just so you know. Also, entertainment purposes only. I'm a psychic. What do I know? I'm just asking my guides to do the best I can here. So let's see. I just read the energies. Really, actually, my guides read the energies and they let me know. Um, the guides say it's not even allowed, I think, for us to know when that happens, but it's soon. Whether it's October or not, I can't promise. I felt just like intuitively or just logically, if you look at the guy, he's not long for this world because of so many health problems, potential aneurysm, mini strokes. The guy's not long. But I always have felt, or my guides have always shown me, that his passing is somehow connected to Pooty's passing. And they're around the same time. I don't know which one goes before or after, but like they're both making that transition to wherever they're going to go after this life. So that's the best I can do for you. Do other psychics are thanks, Gail. Do other psychics? Hey, Linda. Hi, Ivy. Uh, hey, Nanette. Do other psychics see him going in October? I think if I think back on it, like reading about him, I mean, I saw him being close to passing around the time he got COVID, but maybe I was just seeing the potential because at that point, either uh, that happens, or maybe there's other things that intervene, or I mean, there's a potential for it. It's not always fixed in stone, or maybe it just wasn't time. So, and I saw, maybe around the time he disappeared. Remember? And everybody was thinking he had a series of mini strokes. And I mean, if you look at him and the way he drags his leg, he can't walk in a straight line. Even though he seems to have a lot, I almost think it's manic energy. Can talk forever. He, his mental acuity is not very good, and I think he relies a lot on others, to guide him through, like um, uh, you know, his the first lady. Is she really? Um, oh, Jean, Cynthia. There was one area there that people never touch on about the ballroom. I just want to kind of throw that in there. We don't have to really discuss it very much, but that's where the first lady's offices are or were. I don't know how far he's gotten into that, destroying that part, the East Wing of the White House. That's such a historic part of the White House, and it's such a such a misogynistic kind of annihilation of women, of the women who've been important. So, Jackie O, I mean, all of the first ladies, as if that's not significant. That's not, doesn't have any historical importance. I've never seen anybody talk about that. It's just this kind of, that's where the chicks were. We're going to get rid of it. I think it's horrible. I really think it's horrible. And I hope they rebuild it one day. And I hope that they save all the notes and whatever. I mean, think about it. That there's furniture even that the first ladies have used from I don't know when the White House was the beginning or the center of the presidency, but Eleanor Roosevelt, and I could go on and on. It's just they doing, but nobody is really commenting on it. Yeah, I saw that too, and it breaks my heart. Cutting down these beautiful historic elms. There's no honoring of our history at all. None at all. Oh, you're saying, yeah, he gets lived, and probably maybe some other substances too, Linda. Potentially. Yeah, that increases energy. So let's see, I don't want to skip anything. Love's Peace says, will 45 be removed by the military now that he has confirmed to them that he wants them to go against the Constitution? I hear from my guides, yes. I do. I asked them today. There was not one of those generals or military brass that clapped for him, except I think it was perfunctory at the end or the beginning. But there was just silence. And I believe that they will be true to their oath to protect our country from terrorists, domestic and foreign. Yeah, Love's Peace. No, yeah. See, Jasmine saying military are pissed, pretending to like him, planning to take him out. MAGA, Supreme Court gestures running from their offices when this is happening. I just feel that he's. Oh, I wanted to talk about that. The guides put that in my mind. That a benefit of, I want to say it's an enormous waste of time. What Hesketh did in pulling all these generals and admirals from their all over the world from this really critical posts. So disrespectful too, for that stupid talk. It just was that he got them together. So there's an opportunity now for them to all come together in an alliance to talk about this, and also to maybe see firsthand what's going on when they were abroad, they didn't see up close. That will concern them even more. So I think that by doing that, it actually will backfire, like a lot of things do in this administration, to get them to actually go ahead and do what they need to do, which is to protect our Constitution. So I think it's going to have some unforeseen consequences that will not be beneficial for what their purposes were, what Felon 45 and the Czar of War are up to. Yeah, that's what my guide showed me. Yeah, that's terrifying. Jasmine saying that felons suggest using dangerous U.S. cities as training grounds for the military. Unbelievable. Like violent Portland. Which, interestingly enough, I've been hearing that Felon 45 thought that what he saw on television, which were probably replays of, the riots or the unrest in 2020, was going on now. And then he got punked by Portlandiers to show how peaceful Portland is. It was just like one ice facility there, and 4 people protesting. Gene, you say he has the best medical care, but what does it? You can only go so far with medical care when. What are they going to make him into a Frankenstein? They can't. Like, you can have the best medical care in the world, but when he also is probably the worst patient in the world, and he only has so much mileage on him, you know. So it isn't gonna. It isn't really gonna, give him eternal life. There, it just doesn't happen that way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they see his agenda clearly now, and maybe they needed to see it, and they're all going to be talking. Maybe they don't know each other, or they've met years ago or something. Or this is an opportunity for the military to really, come into a cohesive understanding of the gravity of the situation, come together. So maybe it had a benefit that way. Linda, I had a psychic bit last night. The election fraud exposure is waiting for Vance to take over. The MAGA will be brain down with 45 gone, easier to straighten it out. It's possible. I never get like a direct vision of when the coup is defeated or taken out and of power. And, we get the rightful democratic leaders in, but my guides keep on showing it happening, and it feels like it's going that way. Hey, Psychic Dummy. Hey, hi, Alex. So, Gene, you're asking, how's Zelensky doing in Europe? He's doing fantastic. Believe you me. NATO understands, and they have shown over and over and again, because I do keep abreast of that. They're arming Ukraine, they're supporting Ukraine because they know that Russia, if they defeated Ukraine, would not stop at Ukraine. So they understand that it is not just Ukraine's problem, and Zelensky is so important to them, and it's so important to defeat Russia so that they're not overrun. And you can already see that, Putin's poking the bear, threatening other countries, which is silly because for them. I think of FAFO, F around, because they're now up to Russia has lost like 25% of their oil refinery capacity because it's been taken out by Ukraine. And the infrastructure is failing to the point where there's people have called Russia basically a gas station. That's one of its major commodities, and they don't even have gas. They have gas shortage for their own people. Moscow's being bombed. Now Ukraine is so brilliant. I'm total biased for Ukraine. I'm like Slavic Ukraine. They've created these amazing drones that can fly really far into Russia, and there was another. I haven't heard that much about it, but there was Operation Spiderweb, where there was this whole really cool. I hope I see a movie about it one day. There's this really cool plot where the Ukraine army, and I think with help from the Russian insurgency, because there is a Russian insurgency, pretty strong one, that's fighting the regime right now, and they used trucks and they hit drones in them. And then on this particular day, and it was a day after that infamous day when Fancy Pants and the Felon had Zelensky in the office, and it was an ambush, right? And they just totally berated him. And the day after that, boom, he had this amazing widespread operation that took out a lot of strategic military ops. And so there was another one, apparently, a Spiderweb too, just a few days ago, I think. Interesting, huh? So Ukraine's doing great, and I truly believe they're going to win. And Ukraine is, it has a wonderful trajectory to, I mean, their government is really focusing on being, equal to other Western democracies. It's not the corrupt. Somebody commented about Ukraine being corrupt. Ukraine is not a corrupt country anymore. They have a true democracy, and they're fighting to keep it. And I believe that there's going to be the fall of, the Russian regime pretty soon. It's predicted. And the Russian opposition is going to take over. And I think what I see, maybe I'm biased about it, but they're going to have a Western-style democracy. It's not going to be taken over by the old guard or the oligarchs, but a whole new type of government for that country. I think when you think after losing about over 1 million soldiers, people be getting a little pissed off. So let's see what the comments are. Hey, Juanita. Hi. Jasmine's saying, I live close to Portland. It's a peaceful city. Lots of good people who are activists and don't mess around. Dot says, are we almost at the end of terrorist Trump and company coup? I think we are. My guides do show me that. I'll ask them right now, but I feel it's ending. Yes. The guides say yes. But I've always seen that once Putin falls, this government falls, this regime, this coup, because it's all like everybody's been paid in crypto pretty much. And I just can't help but see, you let me know, but that it all goes through like Russian banks in the end. And once Putin's gone, I feel like all that just poof, disappears. And that the new Russian government has access to all of that information, and they freeze the banks, and they shut down the troll farms, and they pull like the Wagner Group out of Africa, and all kinds of amazing things. And there's nothing left there's no bribe money, there's nothing, there's no oil, like it's a metaphor really, but like they're losing oil in that country and losing gas. Well, there's no gas to fuel their coup in this country, because really it all comes back to Putin, and I think that also, it's interesting, I've had this vision when they had that big military meeting. My guide showed me that Putin kind of behind a curtain watching it, like he's the one who called for it, because I believe there's a direct link between Hesketh and Putin. But they keep on showing me Putin like a vampire, almost like a cartoon vampire, and he's got like the fangs, and he's in a cape, and he's just this kind of like in the corner. But the guys say, well, he is a vampire. That's what they say. Will Russia attack the Baltics? It is important in China to whether they attack them or not. They don't have the firepower. As I said, a FAFO, so to speak, F around and find out, because they're really a paper tiger. They're falling apart. Their economy is falling apart. It's in close to bankruptcy. They're right now their generals are all being either arrested. Not all, but many of the generals are being arrested or are being whatever cited, and they're oligarchs too. There's a lot of movement there too. The FSB is somebody was just appointed to the FSB, and he's just going down the list of generals regarding corruption and removing them. And then also a lot of Russian generals are being just losing their lives in the war, and it's a mess. It's a mess. So if you don't already, I would recommend following channels like Jason J. Smart. who's a journalist for the Kiev Post, and his specialty or his dissertation was on Putin and the Russian government. So he's really clear about, and he interviews really interesting people. There's the Enforcer. There's Anna from Ukraine. There's some really good channels that, like, if you watch it like regularly, it's just not good news for them. So yeah, they may be threatening Europe, but man, if they cross the line, they would wish they had not, because NATO is much better armed than Russia. Russia's pathetic right now. They've lost billions of dollars. They've lost so much of their infrastructure, and they're really good at making people scared of them, but they could be, I think, defeated really quickly. If any of those NATO countries join Ukraine, though they will wish they hadn't. But the thing I also here to talk about here, I'm going to look at more of the questions, is that somehow Putin is in a bubble, and people are so scared, like his advisors are so scared to tell him the truth about what's going on. They only tell him what he wants to hear. So he's making decisions based on this information that it's not true. So he keeps on making stupid decisions based on maybe things that worked in the year 2000 or something. They're not working anymore. But nobody can tell him. Kind of like, with Trump, nobody can criticize him because they may not be alive much longer. It's crazy there. He still thinks he can, rule the world, but no, that's not how it's going to be for him. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hey, Celtic Seer, how are you doing? So this is what I gather, from, not just from my guides, but what I'm watching every day regarding the reporting over there on what's going on in the Russian front. They've only gotten like a football field or something, some really kind of, I may be exaggerating, but a really minute amount of land, like for all these millions of soldiers that have died. And they've lost like so much of their war equipment for nothing, like for just nothing. It's crazy. Nanette, can we, the light workers, relax a bit now, or do we need to keep protesting and speaking out? I don't think it's either or. I think you need to do both right now. You need to do me time, take care of yourself. But yeah, I think we all have to keep protesting and speaking out too right now. I think it's important. We need to keep on putting, hold the line and pushing back. Think about the whole, Jimmy Kimmel thing. That was fantastic. And don't forget it. Don't let that be like, oh, that was last news cycle. We have to keep on understanding how powerful we are. We can make all kinds of things happen. And now Jimmy Kimmel is not just being broadcast in the, whatever percentage of the country. It's 100% now. Is it Skynet or whatever those, and Sinclair? They've backed down because there's so much popular support. We did that. And we need to continue exerting our energy for that. This isn't a time to just, hang back for long. I think you can just intersperse time to hang back. I need to rejuvenate now. I need to get back in the fray. Earth Mama, Russia has lost due to Putin's ego. Yeah, exactly. No more Russian money in our elections. And when crypto falls, which I truly believe it will, it's like they got nothing. Because everything's in crypto. They're putting everything in crypto, which is why they're trying to destroy our economy. So we have to turn to crypto, but that's not going to work. My guys, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't be so dogmatic, but my guides tell me it's not going to work. It's like, Jan Willis, what are you saying? Between the stroke possibilities and the dementia, he's really messed up, and no matter what the doctors do, it won't buy him too much more time in office. Exactly. The doctor, it's like they're not going to make a Frankenstein out of him. Or like, put his head on another human, or grab what's left of his tapioca brain and save it for science. He's just like, he's at the end of his mileage, his lifespan. And this presidency has probably taken more time, though I don't know. I mean, hard to say, but but now he's having to deal with the presidency, and that means travel and physical stress. Oh my God, forbid another escalator breaks down. Oh my God, that freaked him out so much. Think about it. He was so angry about that, and paranoid about that ability elevator breaking down. The fact that he had to climb up it, well, it was narcissistic, but also I think it's his health, and then the teleprompter going out on the same day. So yeah, this guy, I just don't, and it's not just like either. It's not like so like a this or that, so to speak, either or, because even if he did survive past a major stroke, he'd be in a wheelchair, in rehab. He'd be a mess. So his functionality is really what we're looking at, would be really, I think, beyond repair in order for him to be president. And then once he gave that to Fancy Pants Vance, Vance would never want to give it back. That's why he's scared of. I think he's scared of taking time off or having surgeries, things like that, because he's terrified that once the VP gets power, it's over for him. I'm sure there's a lot of that, in the back of his mind. Celtic says crypto is electronic. You are correct. And the banks are going to fail if they haven't already. I mean, that Russia's economy is going bankrupt right now, which is why Putin was so desperate, to meet with Xi in China. But I heard about that deal, that nothing was signed at the end of that, and Xi wanted Putin to pay for the pipeline. But can you imagine? You can't build a pipeline right now while you're at war with another country. That's a target. How is that even going to work? And it would take years for that to be implemented. It's just ridiculous. Everybody's so scared about that. But no, it was not satisfactory. But what it really showed the world was that China feels dominant and superior over Putin, and Putin was in a beta position. He was in a submissive position. That's really what it showed the world. They're just really good at propaganda, you guys. So they like to make it seem like, they're the Wizard of Oz, the all-powerful Oz. But there's a man behind that curtain. It's pretty human and vulnerable. Celtic Steer, what are you saying? Didn't the fact that Europeans won the Ryder Cup won't like the Irish guys who pulled it off? Oh, I didn't watch that. I'm not a big sports person, but sorry about that if that have disappointed you. Linda's saying if Trump had any sense, he would just gone. Oh my God, that's so true. I never thought of that. Yeah, there was an escalator right next to it, right? That was working. If he had any sense, he would have just gone on an escalator that was working. But he's still obsessing about that. And apparently all of those mishaps, even though they were blamed the UN, were due to him. Like the escalator was his videographer who somehow inadvertently shut down the escalator as he was trying to get a shot. He tripped some kind of safety mechanism. And the same thing with the teleprompter, which, Trump never uses the teleprompter. look what happened. I'm just, that's what he likes to say. But oh my God, if there's not a teleprompter that's working, then he's immobilized. It really, yeah, here you go. Exactly. Celtic says, uh, uh, yeah, the photographer hit the button at the top of the escalator. Okay. And see, while November has some good aspects for T's health is under severe stress, his heart is in good shape. No, and we still see, there's just so many problems, underlying factors, I should say, that will really challenge his health. And I'm going to ask the guys because I'm getting aneurysm. So he had COVID pretty bad, and COVID can really increase the potential of aneurysms, by the way. And he's probably had COVID more than once. Let's see. And my guide says yes, even though he gets every vaccination, you can bet on it. But they say no, it's not an aneurysm. Sorry, that ends his life. It's a. I keep on. I don't know if you can hear that. I keep on hitting the microphone with my pendulum. It's a stroke, a big ischemic event, because there's a lot of instability in his neurological functioning. They see it, and it's just like it's this overwhelming event, and then it shuts down his heart and all his organs, vital organs, and that's it. And there's no coming back from it. That's what they see. I don't know what you guys see. Suzanne says the shutting down of the escalator was divine intervention. It was brilliant, really. What a good optic for the world to see, like, the truth. It's always about the truth coming out. That's been a big prayer that I visualize, or I pray that the truth comes out. I kind of visualize the sun breaking through the clouds and then just illuminating us. And it's interesting because some of that is happening. I mean, I'm not saying because I prayed for it, but that the whole CK aftermath, right? Which my guides did show me, if you watch, I think the last live or the live before that, about how MAGA would it would destroy MAGA, and it's crazy. I mean, the rabbit holes that they're going down, that is ongoing. And now the focus is on his wife, and oh my God, there's so much. Erica, oh my God, there's so much, and it's not that I hate the duality of just breaking us up as left and right, because I prefer progressive, not necessarily left wing, but I don't even want to go into what they're saying about Erica. It's really nuts. Going back to when she was in the Miss Arizona in a Trump beauty pageant, and then what she did afterwards. It's just bizarre. But they're not attacking what they want to think of as the left. They're really attacking Trump. There's a lot of people waking up on that in MAGA world to something's not quite right here. Something doesn't smell right. Doesn't pass the smell test with dear leader, and it's causing them to move away from him. It has shattered them, really, and that continues. Interesting, huh? I don't know if you guys have been watching any of that aftermath. Yeah, Linda, the teleprompter too. Jean says, says vascular events for sure with COVID. It's a vascular illness. Yes, it is. Celtic says full moon in Aries on October the 7th, and Mars, the ruler, will be in Scorpio. The military aren't happy. No, they are not. They are not happy. We were talking about that earlier, Celtic. So the teleprompter going out, and Suzanne says, Linda Bishop said that, and then Suzanne says, yes, Linda Bishop, no accident. It's all synchronicity. And Celtic Seer saying, many things are bubbling up behind the scenes in many countries. You are correct, Melissa. Thank your guides. Oh, they hear you. They are thanked. This is a good question. Do you think MAGA will go away after T leaves? So there's a lot of factors there. Now, MAGA, there's always been that kind of aspect of things, although I have to say that Russia has been active for years in creating doubt in or trying to create doubt in our democracy and coming up with, I mean, they're the ones who came up with the kind of QAnon type, but this is before QAnon, that like we didn't really walk on the moon, and that's their game, the KGB game, to make us doubt reality, make us doubt science, make us doubt truth. And they have continued in that vein to create MAGA with QAnon, with false information, with misinformation. They put a lot of money in that. They put a lot of time in that. Their troll farms are working overtime, and that's just not Russia. That's Korea and China too, and probably some other countries. And I'll ask my guides in a second, but think about, let's be logical here and think about well, if let's say that Putin's government falls and the troll farms fall, and it kind of creates a domino effect with the other type of information, because most of it I think comes from Russia, or is created by Russia, or is paid for by Russia. And MAGA was really created out of misinformation and kind of like brainwashing techniques. I think Fox News is really like I don't want to say they're not infamous because people aren't really thinking about it, but they were kind of central in fostering emotional infotainment, emotional news. So, and this has been written about, studied, that fostering like the inflammation of what the limbic system, the part of our brain that is like it's driven by anger and fear and just different emotions. And that's actually been studied, that's larger, like there's more inflammation in the brains of conservatives than non-conservatives. So they really have fostered the fear. And because they're so powerful and ubiquitous, and now they're in all of, everywhere, right? Even military bases. There has been, a specific brainwashing with intent that created these people. And if that goes, will that aspect of our culture go too, if it's not being fed? What do you think? I think yes. I mean, it's not like there's not going to be portions of a society that are, racist or misogynistic or homophobic, but we're talking about cult. We're talking about a cult. Will that cult disband? So let's ask. Yes, the guides say the cult will disband once this is ended. Not just with dear leader leaving, but with the whole apparatus that's behind it. Yeah, Fox is a tabloid disguised as news. And, Murdoch and Pooty are great friends, apparently. Oh, good question, Celtic Sir. Will Vance and TL, or as I like to call them, Fancy Pants, usher in tech state, or will that be squelched? I think they're living in a crazy alternate reality, which is not viable. I think each of those people, their personalities are warped. The idea that you want to plant, like look at TL, that you want to plant your personality somehow, I don't know how this could happen, that you put it in a chip, or say you put your consciousness in a chip and you put it in a android robot, and that gives you eternal life, and then you fly it to Mars. Hello? But he does believe things like that, or you get fresh supplies of blood from youngsters, allegedly. I mean, I think he's talked about that. So he thinks he's going to live forever. I mean, that's crazy pants, but that's the guy who's up there, in charge of the tech state. I mean, he's the leader, right? Behind the scenes. And then you get Elon or Leon and his craziness. They're crazy. So I just don't think that their vision can be realized based on their insanity. But I'll ask the guys. No, the guys are saying it's falling apart as we talk. There's just no there there. The whole AI dream, I mean, AI can be really powerful and really positive, but their vision of it and the way they're manufacturing, those data centers and all of that it's just not gonna, it's not viable, and it's just not gonna happen. We're not gonna replace human beings with robots the way they're thinking of. Because they're narcissists, they don't understand actual human beings and actual human responses. Everything in their mind is so flat. I think it's like humans are just like, they're showing me like if you were going to draw a crowd and you were going to designate those are humans, they would just have circles for heads and very rudimentary bodies. That's how they see us. We are not real to them, but we're more than that. They don't factor in the actual human beings and actual human response. They think we're all just really malleable, and we're just going to need what they have, and we're going to, because they're superior to us. They're way beyond us. They're a whole breed unto themselves. I keep on going back to the old like 1950s science fiction movies, that they would be the weird looking aliens, or whatever, however, landing on Earth and so looking at humans and trying to take over. That's how they see themselves. What do you think, Little Sparrow? The irony that they accuse them of drinking. Yes, I thought of that, of drinking blood, adrenochrome, drinking blood of kids. They always accuse others of what they do. Always. Every accusation is a confession. Down the line. Like, dear leader, remember the GOP were talking about lawfare? Accusing Biden of lawfare, and then now look what they're doing. They're really doing lawfare, Let me see if I can answer that question about technocracy. That whole vision came from, was it Elon Musk's father or a grandfather who had written a book about technocracy? And is it Yarvin? Yeah, their guru. No, the guides say no. In fact, there's going to be a lot of restriction on AI and the environmental consequences of the kind of data centers that they're creating. You can do it in a different way, the guides say. And we will be, it's like, like the pendulum swing. We're so far to this kind of the left, to this technocracy vision. It's going to swing way the other way. Way the other way. And that's coming from us, the people. Linda, after the dear leader is gone, no one else will hold sway over the, yeah, like 45 did. I agree. And my guides agree too. He's truly, he does represent the Antichrist. I mean, he checks off the boxes. Now, I'm not even Christian. But, that whole concept of Antichrist, that would be him. Vampire Saga and this stupid Risk computer games, these guys are still teenagers who have never grown up. Oh, that's 100% true. Excellent insight. That is 100% true with all these guys. Um, yes, and look, we made Disney, ABC fold. They caved after losing millions. We have the power. Yes, we do. More power than we know. And they're just trying, they work overtime trying to make us think we don't have the power, right? But we have the power. I think a lot of the oligarchs will be snubbed and isolated. And I can't help but think that they're, and I'm not wishing this, but they're at risk with Putin these days because um, his oligarchs don't fare very well. And I believe that I've said this before, allegedly anyway, or this is what I think, that he's cultivated our oligarchs, all have links to him, and he considers their wealth his wealth. And why would we put it past him not to do what he does to his oligarchs to acquire their wealth? I mean, you just have to look at Leon and his relationship with Putin. And, you know, who helped allegedly with switching, the tabulation of the election? Oh, who was Leon meeting with for, the whole year beforehand? It was Putin. So I hear. Uh, I feel that Zorro Ranch has people, girls harmed by Epstein. Is there a ranch? It's in New Mexico, right? Oh, buried on it. Aren't they looking into that now? Isn't New Mexico kind of investigating Zorro Ranch right now? I think I read something about that, Jean. Um, all will be very useful in medicine. It needs guard. Oh yeah, I think that not that I wish that it would get to this point where we have to start from scratch, but maybe starting from scratch will actually have a better system, like a better health system than we do now. I T had the tech oligarchs for lunch, proceeded to screw them over. He surely did. Jasmine's asking, Melissa, Elon Musk's father, Errol, accused of. Oh, I just read about that or saw something on YouTube. He was accused of sexually abusing his children and stepchildren in line with what you say. Yeah, when they accuse the Dems of things, it's just a confession. Yeah, and you wonder about his relationship more with Leon and Leon's whole weirdness with his relationships. Celtics here, we need to pray for these ladies. They have been through hell. Wish them courage. And another comment from Celtics here, Medicaid and Medicare need to be totally revamped. Absolutely. The whole healthcare system needs to be revamped. It always strikes me like just looking at like rehab and, nursing homes, people paying $8,000 a month for what? These are palaces, they don't, the geriatric population doesn't get great care for that. That has to be completely redone. I try to envision nursing homes completely differently, being places of healing, places people go to actually get healing or to make their transition in peace, not where people are ignored and abused and even or allegedly abused or neglected or whatever. I'm not accusing any particular nursing home, but I'm just saying I think it's like there's a 99% rate of depression once a person gets put in a nursing home, and they charge this extraordinary amount of money, and the money they charge for drugs, all of that stuff, that has to be changed. That's just not even. There's if you really looked at it in terms of like what people are paying for, they're just paying corporations a lot of money for not very much. Yeah, yeah. So it's good to have a vision of a different way. How can we do this so it's a beautiful manifestation, not this the kind of hell that's been created. Any prediction of the U.S. can restore the EPA and medical research? I believe, yeah. I don't believe it's going to take long. I believe that, if the coup is overturned, and if we can get a democratic government in, and I'm looking at President, House, and Senate, I think there's going to be so much energy towards changing and restoring environmental things like environmental laws and healthcare and everything. It's just going to be and the Constitution and the so much. And the ending is Citizens Alliance, and I believe will be the end of the Electoral College too. I see that for the future. It's in my prayers anyway. Oh, I like that, Celtic Seer. Everyone, make your list and flesh it out. We can create a better world. Give us some thought. Yeah, we don't have to accept things the way they are. We can change things. Yeah, I feel it's coming too. Jean, what do you mean see anything happening? Is that a question, or is that more about visualization? So, wow, time has passed so fast. The guides say things will happen. You know how this has happened so fast, this attempt to bring in 2025 and overturn our democracy. First of all, the guides say, oh, that's good about the government shutdown. I'll ask that in a minute. They haven't, even though it seems like 2025. So I heard somebody say it's like 75% installed. The guides say, no, it is not as much as it looks like it. It's like they don't follow through enough. And they all have like a kind of ADHD overlay. Not that there's anything wrong with ADHD, but that symptom of not following through, like not doing your homework, saying you're gonna. There's a lot of that has gone on. Especially since Leon left. Doge. I can't even believe Doge even happened. Okay, government shutdown, long or short? Oh, I see, Jean. Okay. I'm not even sure now. It may shut down, but I'm not getting that it will shut down just right now. I'm getting that somehow at the last minute, Hail Mary, it'll be somehow it will continue. It won't be shut down. But if I'm wrong about that, I don't think it will be shut down for long. It may not be shut down at all. I guess that's a best answer I can. Let's see. Jean asked, see anything happening to the Heritage Foundation? I think a lot of those guys are like pushing it right in age. I think there's going to be a lot of transitioning there. Ending up their transitioning from their physical lives to the wherever they're going to go. Like it's just going to kind of peter out. Yeah, there's only one Koch brother left. Yeah. Will Abbott be reelected? Well, the question is, will there be fair elections in Texas? But there's like 1.5 million more Democrats in Texas than Republicans registered. So they need to restore democracy there. I'm going to ask, try to ask it in a different way. Abbott may want to run for president. He may not want to run for governor. Is he running for governor now? I mean, hasn't he been there forever? He's been there for at least 2 terms, right? I'm not sure if he's going to stay or not. But let me know. Oh, Doge is still operating. Yeah, who's running Doge now? It's kind of, it is running in it, but it's not. They're trying to hire people back. I think I did see something about that. The guys are reminding me. Um, I see the whole thing falling apart. It looks good on paper, but I don't think it's really working out that well. And the constituents and for the Republicans are so angry about that, so angry. Oh, you're so welcome, Celtic. Um, yeah, it's really corrupt in Texas. Texas is like Florida, but the guys are saying Texas will be blue. Just watch, just wait. Um, but again, they're showing me something about like Abbott's ambitions, where he might want to run for president or something like that. But then again, if this whole thing falls apart, it's going to affect him too, monetarily. Like if the Felon 45's regime falls and 2025 fails, and yeah, he's in there. Like he's on the Titanic. He's on the GOP Titanic. Oh, there you go. Thank you. There's 8 million Democrats registered and 6 million registered Republicans. The math isn't mathing. Thank you, Loves Peace. Yeah, it's possible, Loves. I'm my guys aren't just giving me a clear answer to that. They're just saying he may not. He has bigger ambitions, I guess, bigger fish to fry. But whether he runs or not, I'm not sure. Oh, Little Sparrow, Abbott's not going to become president. He wants to run for president. No, I don't. No, I don't believe he'll be president. I don't think that the country can stomach more of this. But that's an interesting dream. And do I think that social media will get less toxic? It'll be less toxic if there's no more trolls. So it's getting a little dark. I'm by my window, and so the kind of the lighting changes, and um, but I won't turn on. I have a light here, but I think we're okay. I only have a few minutes. See if I can. What happens when I do this? Not much. Am I okay? I'm not going to disappear into darkness or anything like that. Just shadow. Um, ICE will be disbanded, I believe, or reformed. Did ICE exist before? ICE existed before this term, right? It'll be reformed, completely changed. Uh, yeah, like I don't think you'll be allowed to have try to be involved in the insurrection at the Capitol and not be allowed to join ICE. I don't think that's going to fly, and or wear masks. I think that we're really going to have to look at what is no Celtics here. Who's paid a lot less money. We're going to really have to look at our policies, and they needed changing anyway. But if we have, like-minded people with, progressive goals running the government, all aligned with not having to be, blocked and compromised, I think it'd become a lot more humane, And people, nobody's asked me this question, but you might be thinking it. Oh, right. Yeah, I think, there's a deportation group or people who do that. I know, Biden deported many people, but I think we're going to really look at it and just change the way that whole thing, reconfigure it. I think people should be coming into our country. Um, I do believe that there'll be a return of tourism. Uh, there's so much that needs to be changed, but I want to believe it will be changed for the better. Um, so okay, it's 4 o'clock, so I'll be going soon. Is there anything else you want me to answer, or I can ask my guides, I guess. They just want you guys to hang in there, uh, and this will pass, and some wonderful things will come. Things we've been praying for, things we've been dreaming for. And our democracy will be strong. It will hold. It's a huge challenge to it, but they see democracy surviving. So I think that answers a lot of our questions. Oh, will we celebrate Halloween? Why wouldn't we? Celtic Seer. It's only a few weeks away. I'm certainly going to get my pumpkins. Yes, we will. Jasmine, I'll have to do that next time. Okay? And I'll answer your questions, save your questions for next week. Okay, you guys, I love you. You be well. And take care. Bye-bye. Bye.